me get that one. So buggy. YouTube, why are you so buggy? What's up, people? You know, I think that, like, the biggest problem with time zones is exactly this, where it's like gonna be New Year for me last. It's like, why is it a New Year at a different time? Shouldn't it be a New Year at the same time for everyone? Isn't that kind of dumb that it's not? I think that's kind of dumb. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. It's just like, it won't be New Year for me for like 12, 6, I can't math, 15 hours. Are you going to stream until the New Year? It's in 5 hours? That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's in 5 hours for you. It's in 15 hours for me. But no, I'm probably not going to be streaming for 5 hours. See, for me to stream 5 hours until your New Year's would kind of be random. You know? Your takes made me hot? Damn. That's crazy. In Italy, it's still the 31st of December. I think most of the world is the 31st. I think maybe just in China? Gotta go by. Okay, bye. What is bro on? What are you on? I updated my tier list. I think I found a compromise. Start the video? You start the video. Now just for you, I'm going to wait. Now for you, I'm going to do my dailies before we talk about the tier list. I graduated cosmetology school yesterday. Congratulations. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. Yeah, that's awesome. When did the not crate DPS get so high? Because of Columbina, baby. Columbina, baby. 1.5 hours away from New Year in India. Nice. So I will be streaming the New Year in India. Nice. Huge. Point one is real, no way. Yeah, don't look at me. Tier point one is not real. It can't hurt you. Got your calcs for Wander Columbina from Mewtwo's. I don't think they're ranking it with C1 in the Hydro combo. They are not from Mewtwo's. They are from my new friend. Where do you see who you're following on Twitter? Like who you're already following? How do you see that? Click your profile and following. Profile. I see replies, highlights, articles, media, likes. Followers. Oh, following. Frost. So Frost did the calcs for Wanderer. They're not on this sheet. They're scrolled way down. And the calcs were for C0 were just under what I have Wanderer at right now. So I updated Wanderer. And 97k. Oh no, they were 97k. I mean, I don't think C1 is going to make him 100k. I'm not going to lie. What's more important, enjoyment or meta? I always want Neuvillette, but it seems he's off meta. Okay, so the key is you got to figure out what you care about. Will it hurt you to play? Like, will you feel bad, you personally, if you play off meta? I have a sweet spot. If a character is higher meta, I'm good. They don't have to be top meta. But if they're lower, it's not good. Anything in this tier feels good to me. Anything in this tier feels good to me. Anything below feels not good to me. Some people, their threshold is here. Some people, their threshold is here. You have to figure out where your threshold is as to what's an acceptable amount of power for you. And then that's where you go. Like, if I had a favorite character in tier 1 or below, they're just not going to be my favorite character for long. Unfortunately. I can't control it. I can't do anything about it. That's just how it is. Need to put Mizuki up? Oh, I did. She's right here. Just because you're 100k DPS doesn't mean you're automatically at a high tier. 100k so that she gets an 8 for total team power. I gave her a 0 for team building since she's carried as fuck. And a 9 for practicality. I think maybe we give her a 10. But she's not doing any fucking thing on this team. So she doesn't get to be like, you know, you can invest in your favorite character to get them above tier 1 if you really love them. Yes. And you have to figure out where your threshold is. Even when I hyper invested in Raiden, it still doesn't do it for me. So I did with my Arley, yeah. And tier 1, that's doable. Much more doable. Did you play Clorand and Raiden or only Skirk in the overworld? I pretty much just play Skirk now. Happy New Year from the Philippines. Happy New Year to the Philippines. And to the people in the Philippines. Because the actual country of the Philippines probably doesn't care about what I have to say. You think Mualani can clear the third boss of next Stygian? I don't know. I'm considering skipping Columbina because I don't play any of the non-cry DPSs. Well, do you use any of the non-cry supports? I have some actual good energy drinks coming. Okay, we'll go relaxing. Fine. We'll do 10 hours of peaceful Genshin music today. I'm sick of that fucking song though. Something newer. What song? I didn't hear music. Okay. Let me know how the volume is. Could an FA be more worth it than Columbina in some cases? Yeah, for Flints, an FA is more worth it. Zubaya's no shield bosses in Stygian are best. all non-cry bosses chill her. But Flint sucks. That's not true. Couldn't respond to my own comment. She calc wander with Night Sky Fires on VVNF and reach A4K without C1. Yeah, the calcs I saw got wandered to 97K with, I forgot to change it, Columbina, NF, Aurora, I think. I think it's VV Wonder. Saw Flip's Neuvillette? I haven't watched it, no. Game is set to ZZ instead of Genshin? Ah. Let's give that a little swish. Millimeter self's 129K. Yeah. 129? So in your video, there may be a Leeway Chronicle. Which that? Where did you hear that? I want to check the characters. Where did I hear that? From my noggin. I heard it from my noggin. Chronicled wishes are never leaked in advance. So, yeah, never stronger than Muika. Does Luga Columbina work with Navia? It does, but it's much better to use Xilonen and Farina. Can you watch it in trans? It's gonna come up, right?
So I don't know if you'll be able to tell by my voice, but I'm sick and dying right now. But I still really wanted to get this video out before the end of the year. So I nuked my body with the strongest painkiller I had at my...
Gotta skip that ad.
And additionally, because LD4, thanks to LD Shop for he once again said, oh, we're just never getting a stronger DPS than this. Neuvillette is basically perfect. And then in 2024, we had Arlecchino. And once again, it's like, oh, she's such a strong DPS.
Make sure to subscribe to Flip. Flippy Dip. Watch the video. Subscribe to Floop.
To get anyone that does more damage than her. And then...
But I'm gonna skip to the calcs.
Her strongest team is obviously not just comprised of Bennett and Citlali, but the last look is kind of iffy, as technically C6 Yonzon is the best option, which puts Malvika at close to 140k DPS, but at the same time, most people don't have a C6 Yonzon, and then when calculating with other options like Xilonen or a C2 Yonzon, or options like Sucrose, then her DPS usually ranges from like 125k to 130k. But then
people drastically overrate Moika, which is crazy. People are like, Moika's like 180k DPS. It's like, no, she's not.
Only that, this is the casual Malvika combo, where you're doing 2 sets of 3 charge attacks and a finisher. It's pretty easy to do, honestly, it's in my Malvika guide, but most people aren't even doing this, and it's pretty easy in my opinion. But there are better ways to optimize Malvika combos, which my friend Butterfree made a video on. I don't care enough about Malvika to learn these combos, but for anyone who does, this is like a free 15 to 20k DPS increase. And then there's a double cryo combo with Escofia, which looks like this.
Since when? Ever since Muika started getting these new combos, they just keep saying that she has...
And once again, it's
they just say she has a higher DPS than she does.
I don't like using these combos as a standard because I can't do them. And I don't think most people are going to go past the more casual combo. But yes, Malvika can shoot from the 130k range to the 150s via just combo optimizations. And that is where the current game ceiling is. Speaking of combo optimizations, let's talk about Skirk, the queen of brute forcing. This will thankfully be a quicker segment in which there is walk cancel Skirk and dash cancel Skirk. Dash cancels are the easier combos to perform with Skirk, and you get around...
Skirk 138k! I did this. I found... I was on Reddit, and I ended up on the Skirk mains Reddit, and someone posted their combo, their combo of someone playing mobile Skirk, and they got this crazy combo playing Skirk on mobile, and I was like, bro, this is like, this person's like really good. Or like not really, this person's not really good. They're doing like a really, really good combo, and they're on mobile. Is this better? And then he calced it and is 138k DPS. So Skirk is just fucking broken now. And it was on mobile. I didn't actually change it on my tier list. I still have her 130. Just like because it is a walk cancel and it is kind of cringe, even though it's doable even on mobile. Combos out there for months, I know, but like just being out there isn't the same as being like doable. No way anyone's doing that. He was on mobile and he just casually did it. So anyways, but regardless, I'm not counting that. I'm just counting the regular one. I'm still calculating the regular one. So like I'm not yeah, it didn't change my tier list. Because I don't count the hard Moika. If I were to count the hard Moika combo, then I would definitely count the Skirk combo.
24 normal attacks, which puts her DPS at 130k, and then walk cancels DP 34 normal attacks, but they are generally harder to perform. Another optimization I don't see people doing is putting their Escoffier on scroll. Yes, Escoffier isn't a Naslin character, so you don't get the full effects of the scroll set, but it is a 12% Hydro and Cryo damage bonus to your entire team that lasts your entire rotation. That buffs your...
Imagine if Escoffier ever gets a buffing set. If healers get like a real buffing set, it's fucked.
Skirk, who does a majority of the team's damage, and it scales better the more investment you have in your Skirk. So yes, me and you will be farming a scroll set for Escoffier. Anyways, let's talk about what you guys are here for the Nordcry DPSs. Starting off with Flynn's, before we even get into his numbers, there actually has been a way to optimize the damage on Flynn's teams that a lot of the English-speaking theory crafters didn't know about, and unlike Movica or Skirk combos, it's extremely easy to do. So the way a lot of people have been calculating Flynn's is by Sucrose just doing one swap before Flynn's field time, and therefore Verdescent would only be active for Flynn's DPS window. So like 6 or 7 seconds of Flynn's field. I swear to God, 6, 7 in series wasn't this common before the meme, and now I see it literally everywhere and I hate it. Basically outside of your damage window, you're a Nefa, and your Hydra unit who is also contributing to Lunar Charged, they weren't really getting buffed by Verdescent. And the quick fix to this is simply just using Sucrose before and after Flynn's field time, and what this does is allow you to get full uptime on Sucrose's elemental mastery loss and the Verdescent shred, and because Flynn's isn't like an overwhelming majority of the team's damage, buffing a Nefa and now Columbina's damage just shoots his teams up by a decent amount, and is just the optimal way to play his teams. Regarding what Columbina does for Flynn's, I've already made a whole video covering Columbina's kit in detail, but Columbina's just a very strong sub DPS, while giving a small base damage bonus to make Lunar Charge stronger, and every time reaction Lunar Charge damage procs, there's a 33% chance for it to just strike again, which I don't think I need to explain how insane that is. Now without Columbina, with the addition of the new Morningstar artifact set which you can equip on a Nefa, and with the Sucrose refresh technique, Flynn's was sitting at around 120k DPS, but with the addition of Columbina, Flynn's is now at 150k DPS, which is insane. This makes him theoretically above Skirk even with walk cancels, and would also put him ahead of Movica with casual combos, while being infinitely simpler to play. Flynn's mains, I'm sorry for anything I've said about him in the past, I apologize, please don't take my soul.
Yep,
Flynn's is I really wish I didn't know
goated.
about this technique earlier, as I feel like it could have helped a lot of people, especially optimizing C0 Flynn's gameplay, but he's getting a rerun the patch after Columbina, so thankfully not that much of a sin. A lot of people were also asking me about if a Nefa or Columbina was more important to Flynn's teams. Here's a calculation comparison of that. Nefa is just a bigger boost to Flynn's teams than Columbina, and she also doubles as a sustain, so yeah. We can now talk about my favorite DPS, Nefer. Now similar to Flynn's, Columbina just does a ton of damage on Nefer teams, which is mostly facilitated by Llama's quills, and while not being a direct damage increase, her unique buff to Lunar Bloom teams is that you'll gain 3 additional Verdance dues. Nefer teams currently have a problem to where no matter how many dues you start with, there's always going to be a delay on your last charge attack, simply because dues don't have enough time to regenerate. And the ways to circumvent this has been via burst cancelling one of your charge attacks, with the burst animation giving you enough time for another due to be generated. And there are also characters like Sucrose and Cookie that are able to swap in after Nefer's first 3 charge attacks to refresh any of their buffs, and this gives you enough time that when you swap back into Nefer, you don't run into the due issue. With the extra dues from Columbina, however, you just never run into this problem, and it also allows you to use a hold skill with Llama to increase the amount of kills you have, while also boosting Llama's personal damage. This never really matters that much for Nefer teams. With Columbina doing off-field Lunar Bloom damage, this does take away from Llama's kills, and therefore you need to do the whole D. Anyways, DPS calculations. Nefer is one of my favorites, so I did look at a lot of teams for her, so I'll just talk about them as I flash them on screen. The first I looked at were her 2 sustainless teams with Nahida and Sucrose. The Nahida variant being her strongest team at 156k DPS, with the Sucrose variant following close behind. And then I wanted to look into sustains in which we have Cookie and Baizu. Baizu isn't that great. Cookie on the other hand,
wow, Baizu's so terrible.
And being 142k DPS. And then lastly, I just tried
only 140 with a sustain.
and Baizu. Isn't that great. Cookie on the other hand performs quite well in
I can't even say with a straight face.
And then lastly I just tried the Queen of Nordcry and Nefa, in which Nefa becomes her strongest team with a sustain for full Nordcry National. So
yeah, so you have a Nefa. You have a Nefa as your sustain option.
Nefa is honestly even a good pull for Nefer. They're running a team with this many valuable Nordcry supports, maybe a hindrance to your other teams. And lastly, to anyone asking if Columbina is more important or Llama to Nefer, Llama's pills do a lot to Nefer's damage, and there isn't really that many good supports for Nefer, since the Danger roster is just so underdeveloped. So yes, Llama is going to be the priority. Columbina doesn't really buff Nefer's damage at all, and unlike Flynn's whose unique buff increases lunar charge damage, the lunar bloom increased verdants do count as mostly quality of life more than anything, so getting things like Llama or Nefer constellations can be similar increases adding Columbina to your teams, so that is something to consider. But the quality of life of never having to worry about dues is just such a big upside to me. I can honestly still recommend getting Columbina for Nefer regardless. Oh, I almost forgot, but because of the increased do count, it means you'll no longer need to burst with Nefer to stall for your last do, so you can very easily build 0 ER Nefer and burst every other rotation, and it isn't really griefing anymore. Lastly, let's talk about Zibai, and theoretically she does have lower numbers than Nefer or Flynn's, and she's also tied to a C6 4-star that adds 20k DPS via constellations. But like I discussed in my Luna 4 value analysis, what you can do instead is just skip Columbina entirely and just go really hard on Illiga constellations, get him to C6, which in turn should give you a C1 or C2 Zibai. And especially if you get a C2 Zibai, that is going to be stronger and in my opinion a much better investment than trying to get both Columbina and Zibai and ending up with like a C1 Illiga. Nothing much more to say about Zibai considering she isn't out yet. So in conclusion,
Zibai. Very good.
If we can Skirk are garbage, they're washed, they're trash and unusable. That was sarcasm. The biggest elephant in the room pertaining to Nordcry DPS is just the fact that they need Columbina to reach these numbers, and there's only one Columbina and 3 Nordcry DPS. So unless we get Columbina alternatives, then you can only really have one of these Nordcry DPS boosted at that time. And even individually, as I said at the start of the video, damage calcs don't mean everything, and there are pretty much pros and cons of all the DPSs. I think the biggest upside of the Nordcry units is just the fact that they're also easy to play, or at least much easier than trying to optimize Movika combos. As Genshin kind of done the gameplay down when we went into the Nordcry. And the fact
Flip my goat. We haven't even been we haven't even been colluding. We haven't even been colluding. And we have exactly the same opinion.
Nefer does take
Good
Llama,
job.
But Llama is best
Good
with
job.
Nefer regardless. And then I've already showcased
based flip.
the plethora of options you have for your last slot. Flynn's takes Sucro Swipe, who is contested, that's fair, but there isn't a lot of teams that need a Sucro to function per se, so having her for Flynn's shouldn't really be a big deal. And then Zibai is taking Gorou, Zhongli, and Shiori, who haven't seen play since the 90s. Like, the only competition they have is the Hydra slot with Aino or Columbina, and they're only competing with themselves, which is a problem you can avoid by simply just pulling for one Nordcry DPS and hyper-investing into them. Then regarding Malvika and Skirk, one thing I do like a lot about playing them is the fact that Malvika's running like 2 to 3 sustains on her teams, and then Skirk has a fanfare boosted Escofia for healing, and can also run Sitlali, so they can just be more comfortable to pilot for some players. I don't know if this was the design intent, but all the Nordcry DPSs either have poor sustains or none at all, really. Nefer's highest DPS team is using to type Amber, Columbina as a sustain, which isn't really that much healing. Flynn's relies purely on Nefer shield.
It isn't really that much healing, it's fucking nothing!
It is a good shield, it's not really the strongest thing in the world. The bottom half of this abyss, it was...
Sounds like Zibai is the only unit that needs Columbia in a wheelchair and the rest can do perfectly fine. Well, except that it's more optimal to just hyper-invest in Zibai instead of getting Columbina. So, actually, Columbina is a low priority pull for all of them, actually.
Getting broken quite easily, but I'm not really going to complain, it is something and it's there. And then for Zibai, once again, she isn't really running sustains, except for Zhongli, who is good, thankfully. But other than that, you have to rely on Gorou, or just Zibai's high defensive profile. Also, looping back to Nefer, I don't think playing her sustainless is the worst thing ever, as she's in iframes for half her field.
Yes, it is. Okay, unbased flip. Unbased. I take back everything I said.
Either through dash cancels or her burst. But again, compared to Malvika and Skirk teams, the Nordcry DPSs are weaker on that side. Regardless, I think I'm still leaning towards saying the Nordcry DPSs are better than Malvika and Skirk, just because the ease of use and damage you're able to get out of them is kind of absurd. But like with the sustain issue, they do have more chinks in their kit and playstyle, but I do think that'll be easier to manage the more experience you get with them. All of the top tiers are so close in damage to where honestly does it really matter. Just use whatever DPS checks the Stygian boss or Abyss Chamber the best.
If you don't pull Columbia's weapon, what's the best max buzzing slot? Prototype Amber is your go-to option. The Battle Pass is good if you can get enough energy.
For you. And you want multiple teams anyways. Malvika, Skirk, and the Nordcry DPS don't really have any overlap. So you can just hyper-invest in 3 of these teams and just be set for like the next year or 2. The biggest thing Malvika does have over the Nordcry DPSs is the fact that her front-loaded and melted nuke just can't be replicated. And with how much health it deletes at the point in time of your rotation when you cast it, I honestly still expect Malvika to have faster clears against neutral bosses. Malvika isn't getting any weaker, she's still broken as fuck. Now, is it a bad thing that a year after Malvika's release, and with the trends that we've had per region, is it a bad thing that we're going to continue to get more Malvika tier DPS units that are as strong as your optimized combos while being easier to play? And to me, Genshin has kind of always been doing this every year. I even memed about it at the start of the video, but quite literally every year we have the same discourse to where the new broken thing is stronger than the old broken thing. So I don't necessarily think power creep is the issue. I have an entirely different problem with Genshin's balancing, which I might make a video on later. I just wish the leaps in damage weren't as big. Nefer and Flint are jumping up by like 30k DPS in one patch. I just don't think the jump ever needed to be that big. And obviously in a perfect world the game would be more balanced and there'd be less power creep. But again,
the main problem is that they just released Moika way too much higher. That's the problem. Moika was just way too high of an increase. She just should have been like 10k DPS lower. And then everything else could have been 10k DPS lower and we'd be
Genshin
good.
has made it pretty clear that they are willing to power creep things. I just wish it wasn't to such an insane degree. But with that, I think I'm done rambling, so thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts on this whole new big 3 debacle.
I just got Varesa, time to bench her. So basically I didn't learn anything, and I'm right. I'm correct with everything I said. So we have Hu Tao and Navia jumping to tier 1. Is Shivery C5 okay to use? For sure. You're just gonna get a pretty big boost when you get C6. Whenever that ends up being. What channel is the video from? It's from Flippy Flip. The GOAT. Flippy Flip. Go watch, go subscribe. Flippy Flip is based. Okay? Yeah, so Navia and Hutao get bumped up to tier 1. Huge. What you drinking? Aoefa and Sucrose and Wander, all the Animo drivers, get bumped up to tier 2. The Moon means they're a tier lower without Columbina. Risley is wheelchaired, my hot take. That is so not a hot... That is the coldest take since... I don't know when. I think Nilu will probably go up too. I just haven't seen any calcs. We can probably move her up preemptively. Now she's squishing the tier list though. I guess I need to make tier 1 bigger. Did you buy a Luga Constellation weapon value breakdown? I kind of did it in my DPS versus video. The whole Nod Cry Cross is tier 0.1. I think that they're a small step above. Kami is just a quality of life for Nefer? No, she's a massive damage increase. Massive. Absolutely ridiculous. Did you talk about my Farina hot take already? No, I'm going to be reading the hot takes video. I'm going to be recording the hot takes video today on stream. What video did you say in a breakdown? It's like the... I talk about pretty extensively in the Neuvillette versus Verisa versus Ibai video. Seeing Skirk in tier 0.1 makes me sad. I don't think it should make you sad. Her power didn't change. She's still fucking broken. Why Rao lower than Ayaka? Because he's terrible. Skirk is actually held back by Farina being an old DPS, an old support. Because if you think about it, and I'm actually serious about that. I'm not choking. I'm not choking. How's that for rage bait? That's my hot take. You guys like that? Skirk's held back by Farina being outdated. What do you think? How's that? How's that for... Am I learning how to rage bait? Am I learning how to rage bait now? How good is Lamasu in healing? It's good. What's the new Skirk's combo? Go to the Skirk mains Reddit. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. It's the fourth slot that's bad, not Farina. The fourth slot is bad, but the fourth slot for Flints and Nefer and Zibai is also bad. and they're doing fine because their Archon is actually good, whereas Farina. Okay, here's what I'm talking. Here's the proof. Skirk is better off getting her weapon than Farina. Skirk's better off. You're better off using Sing Chui. You're better off using Xing Chui. You're better off using Xing Chui and Skirk's weapon than you are getting Farina. So that is why she's held back by Farina. Oh, I did this wrong. How good is Skirk? Genuine question. Very good. She is the second... She's like the third best DPS. Nodcry DPS is number 1. Moika number 2. Skirk number 3. Do you like my moon symbol? C0, C6, Xing Chui. It kind of depends. I mean, it kind of depends. Obviously C6, but I don't think the cons make a difference, really. It's not close. You have a nice day, too. Yeah, the moon... I have the moon. So characters that need Columbina to be in their tier get the moon. I think it's kind of smart. What do you guys think? I'm feeling kind of like a smarticle. Is tiers are in order? None of the tiers are ordered. I think tier 6 is useless. Yeah, same. I meant to do this already. One tier leeway. Nice. C1 Bina or C1 Nefa? C1 Nefa, I think. Bina doesn't get good until C2. Bina's cons. Like, Bina's good con is C2. Keep the green at the same place. Move the Constellation symbol at the right. I don't really care about that. Is Zibby or Nefer better? They're all the same. Just depends on which one you want. My Mualani 0.5. I talked about it in my most recent tier list. Check it out. Basically, or you can just like look at the You can just look at the sheet. It's right there. Is Chori really that cope? She's definitely a bit better after... I think she's probably better after the, after Lunar Bloom. I think she's probably okay. The Mualani rating, assuming what cons and Mona? Yeah, it's all right here. Shouldn't Water be getting a 9 in practicality? Okay, we can give him a 9. Where can I get that sheet? Watch my videos. Please watch my videos, please. It's on my tier list. Every time someone asks where can I get the sheet, fake fan spotted. Fake fan spotted. Shouldn't Wander be getting the same? Yeah. Yeah, it's true. But Wander does have other teams, but his practicality would be lower. But he has a Nefa for most of his teams, so it's kind of fine still. It's okay. If you move all the sports in tier 1, you can get them spaced perfectly. I'm guessing that we're gonna have to extend tier 1 completely, so it's fine. Other teams are way lower. Yeah, they are. It's true, they are. He should get a 0. But if he gets a 0, he's sent into the Shadow Realm. Poor guy. But you can just normal attack spam. Nah, you can't. You still need to do his combo. We're riding C2 in this. I talked about it in my video. She moves up to tier 1. Is Bina really 0.1 on field at C0? Yeah. Wicca deserves tier 0 with the S note. It's too hard. Because if I give her a 10, we have to like lower her practicality to like a 7 at best. And that puts her at the same. I don't think you could, I don't even think 7 is fair. I think 7 is like the absolute most generous we can be. And it arguably makes her team building more restrictive, but even if well, maybe not, but yeah, at best it's still it's a 7 because it's fucking hard. So yeah, she just has to stay at I just leave her at 8.5 and 9.5. Unfortunately, the fact that it's hard to do keeps her down. Calcs are from mostly flip. Mostly flip. Shouldn't Flint's team building be lower than Nefer? No, I don't think so. If you want to play Nefer with a sustain, you need to run an Effa, which is even more expensive than Flint's. Flint's is better than Nefer? No. Llama C1 work well as an FF for Nefer? Yep. Kuki should be enough? Yeah, but then you lose like 10k DPS. Happy New Year from Philippines. Happy New Year to the Philippines. And the people in the Philippines. Does Muika hardcore combo still make her the best DPS? She has the highest numbers with her best combos, yeah. Can you scroll up to show that's the top of the list? This is the top of the list. And yeah, Zhongli definitely moves up too. Do you think Bina DPS is good enough for Dire? I don't know. I don't play Dire. Why Sucrose is tier 0? She's the best in slot with Nefer, Flints. I don't think Zibai, but she's close. Best in slot with close to best in slot with Moika, Columbina, Mualani. She's just one of the best supports in the game. Jello, I envy your perfection. Damn. Do you think Nicole and Varka's best in slot? Almost certainly. You're a bit quiet. Can't hear you that well. You think so? Can turn it up a little bit. Have you looked at idle calcs? I haven't seen any. I would look at them if they existed. But I dropped a tier. Nope. We created a new tier. Yeah, no one dropped a tier. I literally created a new tier. And this is tier 0.1. I really think that they're very close to tier 0. Wika fell off? Nope. I don't like how I have to check into this in the shop. That's stupid. How much damage does Skirk do with the new combo? She's like 138k DPS. It's about as high as Nefer with a sustain. That's not a Nefa. Skirk is 5th best, still best all-rounder team buffer, sub DPS healer. Skirk is what? I think it's fair to say that Skirk is still the 3rd best DPS. Best is the Nod Cry that gets Columbina. 2nd is Mawika. 3rd is Skirk. What's Zubai damage without Columbina? If you equalize pulls, then Zubai's damage is equal, kind of no matter what you do. Because like Nefer and Flints need dedicated supports and Columbina to reach tier 0. Zubai, you can go for C2 Zubai and get C6 Iluga, and she'll be the highest of them all. Or you can, like, yeah. Where can I learn to do calcs? Oh, I don't know. Between Aoife and Lenny, someone's missing? Yeah, we're still, it's a work in progress, right? Is Skirk 138 with a free weapon? Yeah. R1 puts you where? I don't know. Who cares? It's a lot better. What is equalized pulls? Like, Nefer needs 2 5-stars. Flint's needs 2 5-stars. Zibai, because she wants C6 Aluga so much, her 2 5-stars are her own C1 and C2. It's kind of like the same as investing into Mualani. I remember in a previous video, wasn't Mika still at the top? Well, now this is the first time considering Columbina for a tier list. That's 3 5-stars, C0, C1, C2. Yeah, and Flynn's needs himself, Inefa, and Columbina. Nefer needs herself, Lama, and Columbina. If you've noted they're not cries Inefa or Zibai better with Columbina, whatever you want. They're both great. I really think that, yeah, I don't. Not a realistic list? How so? Why is this shorter? It's kind of high just because of Skirk. And Moika and Melt, and at C6 he can enable Melt for Moika. Can you add them to Nodcry Babina list? They're in tier 0.5. The moon means they go down at least 1 tier without Columbina. In their case, they go down 2 tiers. Actually, Flynn's might still be... Well, whatever. I don't know. They go down to point. They go down below these guys for sure. These include new calcs with the Hexorite. Yep. My previous tier list is updated with the Hexorite calcs. How calcs do you buy C0 with Columbina and C6 Aluga? Around here. Is Columbina C2? Nope. No, this Wanderer team is his best team, which is his VV team, which is 97k. Oh yeah, but his power... Yeah, but his power... Yes, I haven't changed his power yet. Have I? 97k, 7.5. Wanderer C1, 7. Yeah, I did. Yeah, so he isn't doing anything on this team. That's why he has a 0 for team building. It's Columbina C2 Earth Shattering? Yeah. It's like a 30% team DPS increase, which is pretty... Well, yeah, it's pretty great. Is the Kniech placement 5E or 6E? 5E. 6E. Should I build Gaming as a new player? If you really like Gaming, sure. I really don't like him though. You think anything below tier 1 is not worth getting? It depends on your personal tolerance. In terms of pull value, I would only recommend tier 0.5 and above. What's Mizuki doing there? She has a over 100k DPS team with an FA Columbina Auroran, and Auroran can be Duran as well. She gets a 0 for team building, but she does get an 8 for team power and a 10 for practicality. Yep. Yep. Why Muika dipped? I can do the combo. Well, either way you slice it, you either give her a 9.5 and an 8.5 for team power and practicality, or you give her a 10 and a 7. And either way you slice it, she's in the same spot. So I go for the one that most people do, and that's it. Vertical investment worth it for Zubai or Columbina? Especially Zubai, yeah. Who's in Columbina DPS team? In Efa, Lauma, Ino, or in Efa, Ino Sucrose, something like that. DPS for ZB? Depends. She has a few different options. You can go for Haikon Aluga, you can go for and get her vertical, you can go for Columbina, you can go for Inefa stuff, you can go, there's like, it depends on what you go for. Why is Ino in tier 1? Well, you can only run one. You only have one Columbina. And if you have another... And she's still the best non-Columbina option for the Nodcry DPS. So, yeah. Is Tuluga worth playing? Yep. Do you think Zubai will remain at the top DPS for the next couple of patches? Yeah. What if you're missing an effort for Columbina? Then you should probably get Columbina. Hyperbloom should still be okay though, but I haven't seen the calcs because Hyperbloom's harder to calc. You didn't update the Wanderer ranking? Yeah, I did. Why is everyone so obsessed with Wanderer? Oh, like I didn't, yeah. It's like right on the edge. It's like right on the edge. But I'm not worried about it right now. Maybe with his C1, right? Because this is without C1, maybe he gets 3k DPS and he breaks 100k. You can give him a 10 in practicality since he has a shield. A 10 in practicality. I don't know. The shield breaks, then he's still fucked. So it's the top 1 damage on the chart. It's right there. You guys are obsessed with Wanderer. I feel like my air conditioning is very loud. Or my heater. It's like very loud and bassy. Wanderer, you can give him 9.5? Relax. Other lunar crystallized teams other than Zubai? Yeah, Navia and Ito. It's both an AC and a heater. Noise gate should do it. It is fine. You'll survive. Luca's best artifact set, Silken Moon, as long as he's C2. Or above. Does Sucrose not have enough of EV team? She does. That's why she's here. But I haven't seen it calced. Who are you most excited for? Zubai, probably. Yeah. Yeah, Zubai has the classic problem of C6 4-star-itis. So it's tough to it's really tough. We'll see how it goes. Seeing Mizuki above Raiden giving me whiplash, yeah. Is she above Raiden? Oh yeah, just one above. Why does Raiden only have 8? Oh, because of Stygian. Fuck Stygian, man. I like Stygian, and I don't even mind the starting with 0 energy. It's just that Raiden is so royally fucked by it that makes it so annoying. The 3 node crate DPS from strongest to weakest? Yes, the strongest is all of them, and the weakest is all of them. They're all the fucking same. People should get less sheet PvP but pilled. It's so annoying. Like when you're arguing within like the tiny minute details, like just take one step back. Take a deep breath just for 1 second. Is Versa with Durin better than Shenyan? Shenyan's not good until C2 for Versa. Why Mizuki on 10 and the other 2 are 9? Practicality? Because with Mizuki, you don't even have any button inputs. You don't even have any button inputs. There literally could not be a more 10 for gameplay than Mizuki. And she's a healer, which I know that Aoife is too, but I think Yae makes a comeback one day, not until she gets buffs. By the way, if you are going to be spending for the new year, make sure to spend on Happy New Year. Ooh, 6% off coupon. Make sure to spend using my link, lootbar.gg. I've used lootbar.gg for over a year before being sponsored by them on my own account, spending over $1,000, thousands of dollars possibly. Probably, certainly. I've spent a lot of money. Currently on is the best deal in town. Regular $100 on for $77, minus Canadian, so that's why it's higher. If you are, yeah, if you're a new user, you get 10% off discount. If you're a returning user, you get 5%. Whether you're spending for Welkin or anything higher, save money, earn cash back on every purchase. Also, you can purchase for Gooner Zone 0 or Honky Starbucks. And yeah, if you're going to be spending anyways, again, not saying to spend, not trying to convince you to spend, but if you're going to spend anyways, might as well support the channel, support your wallet, yay for lootbar.gg. Ronin Blue with 5 community subs. Thank you so much, man. I really, really appreciate it. Absolutely huge. Ronin Blue, literally my new favorite person. What's your coupon code? Just click my link. My link is in the description of... Oh, it's not in the description of this YouTube. I'll add it. But my link is in the description of the YouTube channel now, and it's in the pinned comment for Twitch. Wait, Ronin Blue with another 5 gifted subs? Holy shit, that's 10? Damn. Damn, Ronin Blue, you've passed Ronin Blue and my new favorite person. Thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. Holy shit. Happy New Year. Thanks, man. Or woman. I don't know. I've been stockpiling your videos to watch tomorrow. Nice. I don't know if any Nodcry characters and guaranteed free to play. Should I go for Columbina? No, Columbina is always like the second Nodcry character you go for. Or third. Help me? Why doesn't anyone want to help me? How about that? Who's the first then? Oh, whatever you want. You changed a lot? How so? I have been working out quite a bit. Actually, my daughter was pointing to my like my collarbone, and she was like, "What is this? Why is this sticking out? Go back in, go back in." And then she was just pushing on it for like 2 minutes. It was so funny. It was so funny. Jack Jello in 2026? It's gonna be real. Jack Jello is coming. The before and after photo is gonna go crazy. Yo, daughter, I thought you were in college. Thank you. I look better than I looked in college. In college, I was crazy skinny. Are you active on Twitter? No. I'm so greedy. I want calcs for everyone. Does Mizuki C1 do anything for the team damage? I don't think so. Let me look. Is it possible that calcs of Zibai will change on the update even without beta changes? It is possible. But I don't think it will change much of anything. I mean, it's a small damage increase. Navia barely better than Mizuki cooked, yeah. I mean, hey, at least Navia is like doing most of the damage. That's good. This is C6 fight? Yeah. Oh, wait. No, it's not. It's IFA C2, and C6 is plus 6k DPS. I hate my life. I actually hate my life so much. I hate this with all of my passion. Oh, it didn't change. Oh, thank God. 89k, he was so cooked. Hey, don't make fun of him. I can't believe 89k is considered mid now. Seems you lost 250-50 on Mizuki. I can feel it. No, one, I wished for Mizuki. Actually, yeah, I did. I'm happy about. I love losing 50-50 to Mizuki. She's my favorite. I love her. I love Mizuki. Marry me. I hope the chariot leaks says you buy is true. It is. I'm so sick of seeing these posts. The pilot service posts. Stop it. Get a job. Yeah, no, nothing. No leaks in a long time. She's also standard, so she'd be counted at C2. She could. What is her C2? Increases damage bonus? It doesn't do shit. They should update this to do lunar damage. How can I find the Excel file? Fake fan spotted. Meow, 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 woo, woo. I need like a sound effect board for like the sirens for a fake fan alert or like a fraud alert. It's in my tier list video. The featured video of my channel. First time chatter. Probably. Let's see. No. Not a first time chatter. No excuse. No excuse. I'm kidding. You're welcome here. Let us use the sound using channel points. Pilot service. Place to play the game you don't like enough to play yourself. Yeah. I'm not gonna get baited by cute Geo characters no more. Yeah. I mean, Zubai is very good if you get C6 Aluga in particular. When you have 30k subs, I was here. Damn. This video isn't doing as well on release, but that's very much to be expected because it's not like a news or hype video. It's like a timeless sort of video, but it's actually, so it's 10 out of 10, but it's actually doing quite well. And I think it's an important video. Do you guys think this was helpful? Was this good for new players or? Oh, we have to add the, I promised to add timestamps. When did Zibby get nerfed? She didn't get nerfed. Why do you think she got nerfed? Intro and explanation? I don't know. 7:39. I can spell. Tier list is only with C0 or 0. You can do with one of the early vertical investments. Just pick a strong early vertical investment of your favorite and do them. It doesn't really change placement much. Like all the good characters have good early vertical investment.
One of the most important things in all of Genshin instructing and the
best vertical upgrade to Navia Lunar Crystallized team. Probably Columbina C2. Probably Columbina C2. Probably also go for Navia's weapon because it just makes building her better. Tier 1 needs to be extended. I know. Columbina cons won't work in that team? What do you mean? Lunar crystallized defense of the party's connective increases. Okay, so the defense increase, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter. But it also just increases her personal damage a lot. Wouldn't it be replacing Navia as you buy it? I mean, definitely. I'm annoyed that I have to do this, but you're right. We should do it. We should just bite the bullet. We should just bite the bullet, get it done. Okay. Let's call it there. Okay, we'll call it there. And then now we lock all of these. And then all of these. Okay, and then we can move home. And then we can do this. All right. There we go. Shaska over Aoife. The fact that you have to say that is sad. Why is Gorou so low? Because he sucked until Zibai came out. He's good now though. What do we do now? Who on okay, who in tier 2 can move up or who in tier 2 can move up or down? Surely somebody. Skip Zibai or get her? If you want to play as Zibai, you should get her. If you don't want to play her, you should skip her. Shanna moves down. Nah. Nah, she's perfect there. Maybe Shen Yun. Nahida up. For Nefer. Is music for real better than Yae? Yeah. Auroran up? Yeah, we can move Auroran up. I'll think about Nahida. I'm not totally convinced, but I'll think about it. Is that Skirk a sub DPS? Oh, yeah. Kazuha up? No. His kit is not utilized at the moment. I'll bait it with C1 up. You line down as a DPS? Nah. Zara goes down? Nah. Definitely not. She makes an Effa DPS competitive with Flint's. She's almost as good as Flint's. Kaya down. I still think he's pretty good on Moika teams. Nilu missing on the support side. Yeah, it's like a Nefer support. Rosaria better. Kaya has more cryo application at C6. And he's also not circle impact. She gives a bit of crit rate, but he has advantages too. Shenyan deserves to be higher? No. I know still tier 1? I think so, yeah. There's only one, what we want to call Columbina. Kachina down. I think she's fine there. Set this up with wheelchair. I need to see calcs. G needs to move down. Nah, she's broken with I mean, I feel like Albedo's okay. Although, actually, he doesn't get any lunar teams. Kajina should be tier 2? I don't think so. She's not good in the lunar teams, which is why the other characters moved up. You missed Wander Arrow? Ah, yes. Venti support up? No. Oh. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what we missed. I forgot to move him up last time. Are the tiers based on strongest to weakest? Like is Neely weaker than Chaska? No. Kenneth should go down. Yeah, okay. It's calling me to go to Skirk. She's okay. DPS Columbina cope option. Okay. What's the sign on BNZ buy for? It says new. Kachina down, only give scroll. This is a pretty bad tier. Tier 3 is pretty bad. I think Kachina is better than these characters. Actually, maybe not. Maybe you're right. Get your hood out of there. Isn't tier 1 a bit high for sub DPS Skirk? Nope. Nope. Do you think Barry still have any room to function as low charge DPS? No. Mika should go down. Yeah, okay. Whoa. Do you not for the EMNC 6? For what? What do you use that for? If there's an objective tier list, why are moving character up or down based on feeling? The left side is objective, the right side is vibes based for now, until we figure it out. Tier 0 isn't in the center? Yeah. Most of them aren't. Is it more left than the others? Are you gonna assume the special program? Oh yeah. All of them are aligned to the left. Most of them. They're just aligned at different amounts. I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Mona and Fish will have to be on the same tier or it's wrong. She's so fucking clunky. You could probably put Mona at 0.5. I don't know. I think this is... No, I think Durin and Fischl are better than Mona. Tier 4 looks like it's on the middle. We'll try and... no, I think that if Mona's C4, then yeah, 100%. Yae is calcing much higher than Clara in their best teams, and Yae uses the being a wheelchair enough better. Okay, send me the calc. Send me the calc, send me the calc. I want to see it. I want to see it so bad. Why is there a new tier 0.1 tier? Why is it needed versus just having tier 0 and 0.5? I just think it's more accurate. And it doesn't really hurt anything. I think it's the most accurate way to describe what's going on. Because right now we have a very small difference between tier 0 and tier 0.1. But I do think that tier 0 is stronger. And there's enough characters in each tier that I think it's justified. The goal is accuracy. If someone looks at it, they understand what's going on without, and there's less explaining to do than if I have 6 characters in tier 0, but yeah. GXG Norcalcs from a few days ago. Norcalcs at a higher standard. Did he really have Yae? Who did he have Yae comparable to? Are they on his video? What video? NF is better.
Columbina.
Yeah, 127. Yeah, 161.
Providing anything good for Columbina and compared to what the other Electros do. Gorou also just has to sacrifice a lot to use this instead of Overload, so it's not an upgrade, but it's still a pretty close side grade. Lastly, for Electro, we have to change. Use another Electro whose best team was.
Wow. $161? That's nuts. Okay. So if we translate, let's do a rough translation, okay? So the Chlorand is 134 here, and at KQM she calcs at 100. If this Yae calc is real, 161, then she's calcing like 120k. It's R1 Chlorand? Yeah, I know. He calcs at a higher standard. He's giving Columbina R1 on the Columbina team. Yeah, I'm not direct comparing. Okay, well, we can... Okay, so by percentages, 160 divided by 130. So that's like 23% better. So I'm not gonna put Yae at 120k right now until I see it calced at a lower standard, especially because she's being wheelchaired like really hard by Nor giving R1 to Columbina. However, I will move it up. Enough sucrose. And we will go for 110k right now. And we'll put put a question mark until I can get calcs for her. She'll get a 0 for team building and probably like an 8 for practicality because now she has a shield. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do for now. It could be that she ends up being better than Chlorand and whatever, but for now I just want to be safe, and this should be safe. Nice. Seems really high. Yeah. Yeah, is off field. Yeah, I guess you're on fielding with sucrose probably. But you could also you're probably still on fielding with Yae Miko. You're just swapping into sucrose a lot. And you have to spend so much time on-field time with Yae. I feel like we just call her an on-fielder. Thirds are clunky. Yeah. It's not that bad though. Actually, I'm just gonna make it 100k. I don't know. I'm freaked out by it. We'll do this for now. It could end up being higher, but I think all the other calcs, I don't see a reason why Yae would be so much higher than Wander, Sucrose, Mizuki, etc., etc. We'll just call it here for now. I don't think Gagne makes sense in off-field. No one uses her like that. Sure they do. They 100% do. More than they use her on-field. Nor calcs are actually shows Linny and Arlie damage is equal. I agree that my calcs have Linny and Arlie damage is equal. It's just that Linny is ridiculously asked to play. Does the icons do anything? Yeah, they give her some damage. We'll put her at C1. Why is Ito's practicality a 7? His combos are hard. Does it help if you give him? We could make it an 8. I actually think his combos are hard though. I'm sure Alhaitham moves up. I don't have anything to base that on. Llama, Columbina, Kuki. I'm sure he breaks 90k. Did Flip respond to me on that? Oh. Okay, I'm gonna Vomfeed did a calc, and I'm gonna downgrade the damage for now because I don't trust the calc. I'm sorry. 7. No, 7.5. That actually doesn't move him up. But his practicality is going to be better. It's less reliant on him. He had him at 105. Should we say that Alhaitham's actually 100? We'll say that it's 100. We'll say that's 100. Vomfi had him at 105. We'll cut him down to 100. If a Sucrose wanted to get 10 practicality. Maybe Jello could answer that. Nah. C4 Aka good for Skirk flex slot? Yep. No, Hutao never beat Skirk. The calc is not correct. Is Shen upgrade for Rao Freeze? No. Yelan's better. Not for 105 of Alhaitham? Yeah. I'm saying 100. We'll see. What tiers you buy without C6 Aluga? I don't know. It depends on how you judge it. For me, she just takes a team building hit. Like damage wise, it's probably tier 0.1. Especially if you go Columbina, C2 Aluga, Inefa. Oh, it seems too high for just C1. I think she's the best in slot choice for all 3 of the best characters, if like the 2.5 characters. I think she's fine there. You only have 1 Columbina. Should Lan be in the same tier as Kazuo and Jean when she isn't best in slot for anyone? Well, Kazuo's not best in slot for anyone. Jean, if anything, Jean could go. Like, Jean is the best by far because she solos a bunch of stuff. Puts you by on 0.1. She's somewhat harder to build than Nefer and Flynn's. Disagree. Although I'm considering moving Mualani up. I think we need to move Mualani up. I think Mualani and... I don't know. 1 second. I need to pee. Playing Mualani's Torture, if you miss a Vapor, damage is worse than Razor. Okay. I've decided, I think... It's just like, okay. Counting C0 characters... Okay, Mualani, this is the thing. Mualani's team is just so cheap that she should be allowed to have her C1. And that's kind of the same thing as Zibai. Nah. You have it right as it is now. Reach. 100 Z0. Let's see when he gets 100k. Does he? If you don't have the cons, how can you make the tier list with that assumption? Nah, maybe yes. So you want that for reach? Alright. I saw an effort without Llama and Columbina is kind of bad. Terrible. Okay, so what does Zibao calc at? Yeah, so I guess the question is, do we count? Because Yubao gets Aluga the C2 Aluga situation. Or the C2 versus C6 Aluga situation. What happened to saying Zabubu? I say what I want, okay? Readable copy of the spreadsheet. Fake fan spotted. It's in my tier list video. Okay, so if I change this to Zibai, if we give her, let's say this, okay? It's Columbina, Iluga, C2, and Inefa. I think this is one, or like Gorou. Or Zhongli. They're all like the same. We'll do Zhongli. Or we'll just do, I don't know, Gora's on her banner. Um, might not be at 10. Ning Wong can be OP with Zubai, 2DDS instructor. She's defense scaling. Nine for damage. Right. Or we do a Luga C6. And then it's 145k. She gets a 10. She gets team building of 2.5. Do you think I might change their kits like they did with Nefer on release? Could be. There's no way to know. Ten practicality is too much for Nefer. Yeah, with we're hoping her practicality is fixed. We're hoping her practicality is fixed when Columbina comes out. Why is Gorou so low and considered niche while other characters like Chevy? Because Chevy isn't. Chevy works with one archetype, but the archetype consists of many different characters. Gorou only works with literally one good character. And he's not an integral part of the team, whereas Chev is a hugely integral part of the team. So Zhongli is better than Gorou for Zubai all along? Well, he allows the practicality to be 10. Gorou is a little bit better, but then you have 141. Sure. They're really close. Yeah, if they're about the same, then Zhongli's high key better, exactly. Gorou should be okay though, because you still have a lot of defense, and so a little bit of healing. Columbina and Effa in the same phase. Is the weapon banner worth it? Nah. Calcs for C2s you buy and C6 Aluga. Yeah, it's 156. This is what you want to do. Yeah, I think, I don't know. It's a bit optimistic to say a 10. How decent is Raiden support? I have her here, tier 2. You mean on-field support for an EFA? Or what do you mean? And if I can call me like as a driver, I'm not sure what she calcs at. What did Nor have her at? Pretty low, honestly. I think Flip had her at 98K. Which, I mean, I guess it's an upscale, and it doesn't hurt her other teams. So she still gets a 2.5 for team building because the other team is close. Let's see Wanderer North so we can see the C1 difference. It's not just C1. But we can see how it compares to the other Animo. So he has Venti. Oh, he has it as upscale for Venti too. In Efa Duran Columbina. So Wanderer, Inefa Farazan Columbina, Inefa Sucrose Columbina, about the same. Sucrose a bit better. So how does that compare versus other Animo driver teams? Shucks with Chaska. Oh, Shao's the same. Mizuki, yeah, he has it as the same as Wanderer. He has Mizuki as the same as Wanderer. So it's probably 90K. I hate it. I hate everything. Want to receive at least 100K reach? I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think his C1 is that big. Venti's the best animal wheelchair. Is he? Send me calcs. Then it should be 95 minimum. Yeah, that's true. That's true. The higher we move him up, though, the more he's wheelchaired, though. Wander C0, not C1. You guys are obsessed with Wander. I want Wander C1 calcs because we should consider him at C1, but we need to get them first. Would be to work with Skirk. She is like a slight downgrade to some characters. From 76k to 80k, don't you remember? I don't know what you're talking about. There's a lot of I can't like hold a full conversation with someone because what team do you want to C1 at? I think his best team is going to be Columbina and FO Roran. Isn't Nefer supposed to be the new Muika? Why is she third best? She's not. She's tied for... The tiers were not ordered. She's tied for first. She's third on this list because I have her at a lower practicality. And I have her with a healer because I believe in healers. And that makes her DPS drop quite a bit. We could also do an Effa. And then she gets 151. But then her team building takes a hit. So that hurts her even more, I think. So I'd rather just go with Kuki. Because I feel like if I put an F out, her team building is going to 2.5. Last time we calced 100k by ourselves from 76k to 80k, do you remember? By ourselves? What do you mean? You don't need a healer with Llama if you have Lunar Bloom. I just think that if you don't have a healer, then her practicality takes a hit. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying, like, look, like Skirk can do 138k with her other combo. Moika can do 155 with her combo. Hard things get punished, though. So I'd rather go for the easy thing. That's where my tier list is different than just a straight peak theoretical damage tier list, is I take practicality and team building into account. Should have gotten C1 Llama. It's still better to go for, to use a healer and go for early cons on Nefer. Yeah. So not really. Is the wrong field Columbina numbers? Yeah. We'll just do it like this. NF Lauma Ino. 129k. 9.5. Team building is like 2.5. Practicality is like, I don't know. We'll say it's 9 for now. All right, so for now, it hazard right here. But maybe she just feels nice to play. Oh no, she has a shield there. So I don't know. Maybe team building is a 3. Maybe we just go with this. Maybe I know. Maybe I know. Happy New Year, Jello. Happy New Year to you too. Don't have any odd card DPS. Should I get Columbina C1 or get C0 and go for an FA? C0 and an FA is better. Wait for Llama if you... She kind of griefs the T0 teams. Yeah, that's okay though. I think you can replace Llama with Sucrose and it's like the same. I'm pretty sure. Flip has Nefer at 156k DPS. Does he? Is that what he has her at?
So I don't...
151k. Already base your DPS off, mostly flip. A little bit of who is the other one? I already forget. Mostly flip, little bit of TGS, little bit of GC sim. A little bit of frost. $156 to stainless. Is it? Oh yeah. That's also an expensive ass team. Crazy though. Best DPS after 6.3. Whatever lunar DPS you put Columbina with, and that you invest into. Mualani Sion's at the level of non-crit DPS. Should be higher. Okay, here's what we could do. Here's what we could do. We could do 130k. We could do C4 Mona. And then 130 gives her a 9.5, and then we could give her a team building hit of 3.5. I hate my keyboard. And that puts her at the same level. Sorry, I can't do it. If we start allowing early cons, then we could do it. But right now, we're not allowing it. What if it's just a 4? No. It's her practicality, man. She's too annoying. You're comparing a 3 cost to a 4 cost? I understand. I totally get it. But the problem is the problem is that, well, she's compensated for it by having a good team building score. Look, if she was nice to play, she would be. Like, she is compensated for having a cheap team by the team building score, and the team building score does matter. She has a very high team building score. The problem is, because she feels bad to play, she's punished a lot. So, like, I understand that the cost is different, but we have compensated her for her cost being lower by giving her a very good team building score. And the team building score does matter. Skirk team is kind of expensive. You don't use money. Yeah, and I have her at a 3, which is quite low. These teams are also fucking expensive. So the real thing that holds Mualani back is her practicality. Mona's essentially free. Yeah, that's why we have her team building score as so high. If she just felt better to play, she would be a tier 0.1. Do you see various lasting flins? No. Skirk doesn't need a Scoffy if you have Farina cons. More like she doesn't need Farina if you have her weapon. She's ranking the DPS, high ranking supports. Well, it used to be we used to have a way, but currently we're doing just feel until I think of a better way to do the off field. Fire should be lower for the supports. I think she's okay there. I guess the argument is that Wander's best team doesn't even use her anymore. She lost teams. Should we move down Kai and Rosaria, both of them? Should we do that? During getting a set, yeah. You can use Farazan even with Skara. Nora uses Farazan and Effa Columbina. Yeah, it's worse than Sucrose. Right? If I saw that correct, did I see it wrong? Yeah, she gets mogged by Sucrose. Get fucked. Not that much. Yeah, but that's sad. Mualani is 24 from crit rate, 40 from being Obsidian Codex, now she's getting 15 from Mona. 60. Yeah, that's right. Are Sucrose cons basically useless in their teams? Yeah. When the general player base is care for team building over damage, well, that's why their team building is ranked the lowest out of the 3. And the general player base does care about team building for sure. They'll always be talking about how expensive Skirk is. For judging Mualani how easy it is to play, Muika should be lower. Muika is at an 8.5. She's much easier than Mualani. Mualani, especially with Mona, is absolutely tragic to play. Skirk is too expensive to be considered good. See what I'm saying? That's totally not true. But the general player base does definitely care about team building. Too expensive to be considered good is ridiculous. You've been on a lot of recent streams. Where's the real streamer April? We all miss her. Better watch our podcast. Skirk is so expensive. She uses 3 5-stars. Yeah, so does Flynn's, Neffers, Yubai, Moika. Everyone's expensive, buddy. Everyone's expensive. Except for Mualani, and that's why she has such a good team building score. Yeah. Mav is not that expensive? Yeah, I have a pretty high score for Mav team building too. Brace isn't super expensive? Yes, she is. She's crazy expensive. 2 C6 4-stars and a limited 5-star. Could Nefer not just use an F in the 4 slot? Yeah, and then I have to lower her team building. For no benefit. Now Flynn's is number DPS. He's top 3. Nefer's 156. Yeah, then I have to lower practicality for being sustainless. Kuki's the best compromise. But practicality goes up. Yeah. So we could do 2.5 and 10. I guess that's a little bit better. Are you happy? What about C6 Yehoda? I don't think it's super good. It's a pretty big DPS loss from extending rotations. Why is Ayaka lower than Nilu? Is she? Oh yeah. Nilu with Columbina should be a buff. Pretty sure it's 150k according to flip zone calcs even? What are you talking about? Oh, Yehoda? I don't think so. He didn't even include an Effa here. And also C6 Yehoda is ridiculous to assume for Nefer. Thoughts on higher DPS ratings to include 150? I don't think it's worth it. Maybe if I don't think you'll feel a difference between 140 and 150. I don't think you'll feel any sort of difference whatsoever. Why is he by team building lower than Flynn's? Because she wants C6 Aluga. They can't all be 10? Sure they can. To me, as long as you hit a certain threshold, it's a 10. And I think the number is 140 because it's a ridiculously high number. And the nice thing about 140 is that I don't know, I just think it's the right number. If we get... I'll tell you this, if Flynn's ends up feeling stronger than Zibai, and it's actually 150 versus 140, then I will have and he can like brute force stuff that Zibai can't, or he can do it faster than Zibai, then I'll make a new one. But as of now, it just doesn't matter. If there's some actual reason to do it. How is Flint's like the best, low-key the best DPS in the game? How did that happen? That came out of nowhere. That came out of absolutely fucking nowhere. Due to KQM calcs? Yeah, that's the other thing. That's the other. Oh yeah, that's the other reason. Is that Zibai goes up with more with KQ with higher standards, or not Zibai, Nefer does. Yeah, Llama can crown. Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. I forgot about that. But that was part of my reasoning as well. Is in practice, like, yeah, he actually has to feel better. Enough is the real goat, yeah. I get it, I get it. I don't want to do this right now. Seen Varka leaks. How credible do you think the 2-2 element lock is? I think it's credible. I talked about it in my rerun video. Didn't they say now that Columbina will steal dues from Nefer? Will she? Oh, is that was that what it was? I haven't heard anything about that. Is that this thing? I don't know if, is that really true? Yes, for AoE, nice. Llama doesn't sell, just use tap simple, yeah. Yeah, stealing dues in AoE doesn't really matter. All the content, all the hard contents in single target, yep. I guess I'm not gonna do that hot takes video today, or should I? I kind of have other stuff to do. What hot take? Are the best movie combos really that difficult? Oh yeah. Yeah, oh yeah. But it depends on who you ask. Okay. You have to go through so many comments, I know. 600 comments, 560 for the Bina. Will I'm also be getting rewritten in 4 patches. Please say no, I don't have Primo Gems. She'll be getting rewritten pretty soon. Probably. 4 patches? You should be able to save for Llama within 4 patches. Only 20k increase solo? No, this is DPS. Not one big hit. Do you have a Mualani figure statue? No. I don't think they have a good one. Mualani. What are these called? I don't remember what they're called. Do you see Alice Jordan becoming better with Alice Varka? Yep. Can we look at the spreadsheet somewhere? Fake fan spotted! Fake fan! Ew, ew, ew. It's in my tier list video, which is the featured video on my channel. Does Frost calc only these teams? Pretty much, yeah. I want him to calc more. Please calc more. Please. Will Zubai be the last we're getting from Nod Cry? I don't know. I think we're getting the Frost Moon girl. I don't think Sandrone will be a Nod Cry character, but maybe. Actually, maybe. But I don't know. Snow Maiden. What if they do the craziest thing and they make Lunar Freeze a reaction and they add Lunar Freeze to Columbia's kit, and then Skirk's best team is Columbina, Frostmoon, Escoffier? Wouldn't that be insane? That'd be the best possible timeline. And then Skirk becomes the best DPS in the game. That would be the best possible timeline. How'd you get the Gleam though? What do you mean? You use Columbina plus the Snow Maiden. Why don't we count Mualani C1 because of how cheap her team is? Because we're counting her cheap team by giving her a higher team building score. As I said to the other person, the real thing that holds Mualani back is she's so bad to play. If she was a 9, her team building score would boost her into 0.1 tier. But because she's terrible to play, she's stuck in 0.5. Doubt it's insane to name Scoffy to keep Free irrelevant. Yeah, I don't disagree. People say she misses crits, 98 crit rate. Well, they're probably not missing crits, they're probably missing vapes because this team is fucking ass to play. Why is it crazy for them to do a new crowd reaction? Because they'd have to retroactively add Lunar Freeze to Columbina's kit. Or her burst flying around direction, 100%. The fact that her burst is a big part of her damage makes that even worse. And the fact that they added so much jank to get Mona's buff makes the team even worse to play. I gave her a downgrade. I had her at a 6.5. I downgraded her to 6 after Mona came out because she feels even worse to play after Mona came out. At least it does more damage, for sure. And if you have C4, it does even more damage. But doing 4 normal attacks and having to do such a jank rotation, God. Oh God. Will Jubai be really strong? Yeah, she really wants C6 Iluga. You're better off focusing in on C6 Iluga and skipping Columbina. This tier list is for people without hands. It's for people, yeah, like me. It's for people like me with no hands. Yes. Dubai will be a top DPS and Xilonen is buff, trust and believe. Actually, it's fair. Xilonen free on Columbina Dubai team? True. If that is actually 140k, then we can raise up the team building score to 3. But I think it's fake. Feels bad to play, doesn't feel like a super objective metric. Oh, it is though. Oh, it is though. Also, that's why it's an objective tier list. That's not objective. You guys are crazy if you literally think that she feels just as good to play as Flint's or Skirk or Varesa. You guys are actually out of touch. Skill issue? Yeah. The practicalities right here, mechanically difficult. Lack of ER nades, lack of IR, low survivability, lack of multi-wave, lack of AoE, lack of consistency. It's right here. Saying something isn't objective doesn't mean you disagree. No, I think it's literally objective that Flint's is less mechanically difficult than Mualani. I think that is objectively true. Are you disagreeing that that's objectively true? That Flint's is not easier to play and less mechanically difficult and more consistent than Mualani? Come on. Come on. You're crazy. It's objectively true that Flint's is less mechanically difficult. Lower the team points and include her C1 and choose 150k. Yeah, if we allow early cons, then the tier list change as substitutions for a better team building score. Then it changes things, right? If we somehow get her to 10, and we give this a 3. Actually, no. She feels so bad to play that she's the same. Like I said, it's not her power or her team building or her lack of constellations that holds her back. It is literally how mechanically difficult / inconsistent she is. That's what keeps her down, I'm telling you. Raising her power to 150k doesn't fix her practicality issues. If you don't think she has practicality issues, then I'm super happy for you, but your tier list is different than mine. If, like I said, if she felt great to play and she was a 9, she would be there. If she felt amazing to play and she was a 10, she'd be tier 0. The thing that holds her back is not the fact that I'm not giving her constellations. I am compensating for that with the team building score. You can see it right here. You can see how when I change the numbers of the practicality, it literally makes her tier 0. But that's not what's the thing. That's not the problem. The problem is not the damage. Can I send links in here without getting timed out? I don't know what the setting is. She's not difficult to play. She's just clunky. I don't know what to say about that. You have to manage the what's difficult is you have to like slightly delay your charge attack, your normal attack to make sure you vape. You have to mechanically do the rotation correctly, which is okay, sure, clunky, whatever. I don't know. Sucrose is still missing? What do you mean? 6 in practicality is low-key generous. Yeah, I think to me it feels right on. Napkin calc, don't take serious. Yeah, 1k DPS increase. Nice. Wander C1. Wander C1, everyone. 1k DPS increase. Sucrose in the sheet is still missing. Is she? Like I didn't... Yeah, I didn't change it from... NFA Columbina Auroran? I can't remember what it is. He reached 100k with his C1 almost certainly. Nope. I still doubt it. I don't think it's a 3k increase. This guy calced it and only got a 1k increase. His C1 is pretty bad, unfortunately. Skirk got creep. The Columbina team is really good. But she's still the second best non-Columbina team. So I wouldn't really worry about it. Skirk should be better with Fischl Durin, right? I don't know. All of them could be better with Durin. Yeah, no, I think the Mualani thing is incredibly fair. And if anything, this shows how good this tier list is. in that it is balanced around like the early con that you could give to her that would increase her power is balanced out by her team building having a great score. Like, that is like such a huge W for this tier list, actually. What about the wheelchair teams with calling out for Sucrose? Basically, the characters that rely on Columbina have a moon. And they also get, and if they super rely on Columbina, they get a 0 in team building, or like their team building score tanks. You should say that you're coming from personal experience when Judge Mualani. It's not just personal experience, it's the experience of the majority of the player base, and the practicality is listed right here. Practicality is for sure a degree of personal experience, but like, why do we build and test every character if we're not doing some personal experience? But of course, I'm also looking at other people's personal experience too, which is the same. Yeah, Mizuki thing is shocking to me too. 100k is funny. I feel bad about joking about the Mualani thing now that everyone started piling on. If you make a joke that people do have a real opinion, it's not, you're just saying people's opinion, you know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of people's actual opinion on the matter. Use Gorou C6 for ZB. It would reduce her practicality score. Would it be worth it if we use Gorou? He's been on a lot of banners, so we can give her a higher team building and then a lower practicality. No, it's not worth it. $112k IFA, wasn't it 106? That was with C2. With C6, maybe we can judge him at C2 just so it's a little bit more palatable. Because he's only been on like 1 or 2 banners, right? Increases team building a bit. Flint's is the best DPS now. The thing is, at a higher standard, Nefer does more damage, so I'm not really sure. I really think that all 3 of these are the same. Is Columbina out? No. I really think that all 3 of these are exactly the same. What do you think is worth a pull for another lunar team? I think 1 lunar team is the way to go. Flint's best DPS? I think all 3 of these are the same. Increases Aoife's team building, but not Wanderers? Yeah, because Aoife is like a free character, basically. As a 4-star. You Wanderer mains are actually crazy. Fine, we'll just leave him at C6. And he gets to Mog Wander with his damage. C2 Mizuki? I don't think it changes anything really. Increase Sucrose team building? Yeah, we'll just leave it at C6. It's whatever. It doesn't matter. Flint's a bit of a fraud? He is. It's an Effa that an Effa carries the team on their back. Nefer scales higher than Lens. Yeah, Nefer and Zibai are both hyper carries, so they'll scale better. Does Zibai's crown matter? Or is she like an Effa? I know her artifacts scale better. But does Zibai and Aluga talents matter? Aluga? Both. Do either of their talent levels matter? Looks like no. For Aluga. Crowning gives more DPS? Yeah, but is it like the way an Effa gets more DPS, where it doesn't really matter? Should we divide the tiers? Green is tier 2, yellow is tier 3. The reason why they're different colors is to showcase the changes. So all the green that's in the blue zone have been moved up. All the blues in the light blue zone have moved up. How do you know if crowning a talent is useful or not? Well, it depends on how they scale. Raise your cox would be an F wheelchair? I don't know. How good usable is freeze wisely? Bad. Artifact video is very useful. I'm glad. Zibai should be 9.9 for total team power. Nah. Yeah, like even if we did a 9.7, actually that does make a difference. Funny. TGS dropped a new video. Hold up. The goat scientist.
Guys, Columbina will come out very soon, and in this video I will tell you what I think about her pull value, pinpointing whether or not I think she's a though. Going back to Columbina, first and foremost, it's important to understand what type of character she is. Primarily, she's a Hydra off-field DPS with some support on top of it. This is something you should really keep in mind, because while her support is pretty nice, all things considered, her damage is what stands out about her. Her firepower is probably the highest in the Hydra off-field niche, as she will deal damage at ranges from 400,000 to 700,000 per rotation, a cheap investment with realistic artifacts, as long as the team can help with any of her lunar reactions. She doesn't rely on particular teammates buff to achieve damage in this range, especially because for the most part, as a HP scaling unit that doesn't benefit much from damage bonus, she doesn't really have access to many supports. This, I will say, is the biggest consistent impact she will have on teams, because her support is rather finicky in comparison. From a pure numerical supportive standpoint, Columbina really doesn't impress, as through her burst she increases the team's lunar reaction bonus by up to 40%, and as a baseline she also increases those reactions base damage by 7%, and that's it. However, her support is, again, kind of finicky, because she does have a few other little things that aren't purely numerical. Through her passive, she allows for additional triggers of lunar charge and lunar crystallize reactions, and also allows you to generate...
If I have Nefer Premium, should I invest into Nefer instead of playing Zibao? Depends who you want to. If you want to play a Zibai team, then you should get Zibai. If you want to make your Nefer team stronger, then you should get Columbina.
3 additional verdant use per rotation on Dendro teams. This last part in particular is the best aspect of her support from a quality of life standpoint, because...
Personally, I would do one Nodcry DPS, and it would be Zibai.
It makes something that has been...
If it was me, if it was like me, That's not a meta thing though. That's just like my personal choice.
Better teams with Hydra players like Dino pretty trivial instead. Lastly, she enables all lunar reactions by herself. So Lunar Charge, Lunar Bloom, and Lunar Crystal.
If it was me, my account I would have skipped Nefer, got Lauma, and then I'd get like early cons on Zibai, and then I could and then I could either have like a Columbina Lauma team or a Zibai team, and then I'd probably get a Nefa just as like a support.
Granted, the team can actually trigger those reactions, of course. For Lunar Charge and Lunar Bloom, this is mainly nice to counter some of the bosses that have specific weaknesses to lunar reactions, as we've seen a lot of in
Yeah, I'd say C2R1 Chaska is competitive versus the C0 meta teams.
Siege and Onslaught as a late. For Lunar Crystallite is great in general because it transforms a reaction that is really bad and does pretty much nothing into a reaction that deals quite a lot of damage per rotation. As a result, she should be a really nice support for pretty much any Geo character. So, while her numerical buffs aren't amazing or anything, even compared to a 4-star character like Aino Constellation 6, taking everything she provides into account makes her look quite a bit better at increasing her teammates' performance. The overall result is that all of the heavily non-crit focused teams
144, 141, 140. So he has him a bit lower. And this is why I don't want to calc 150k, because he has it a bit lower. Right? He has Flint's at 144. And I like to... Yeah, they're all the same. Flint's and Effa, same damage? That's funny.
are going to set a new DPS standard for most people. If you ignore the Mabuga rotation with very hard combos to execute, this is pretty much as high as it gets for Genshin metas right now. Note that the Never and Zibai.
And this is exactly why, by the way, I do the ranges. Right? This is why I do ranges and not specific numbers translating, because things can always be a little bit higher or lower. But as long as they're they fall in the right range, then we're good. And of course, even with ranges, we're still going to get some mistakes where they're just barely in one range where they wouldn't have been another, and that's causes some inaccuracies, but it's still better to do it this way.
Teams here can reach higher damage ceiling than the infographics show by ditching the defensive characters and their teams for offensive ones, but the purpose of this video is not to compare these main DPSs to one another, rather to highlight the impact Columbina has for them and whether or not you should pull for her if you have them. The answer is an obvious yes. Before I move on, let me remind you that if you enjoy my channel but you didn't sub yet, please consider doing so because it really makes me notice your support. What I said previously, however, only pertains to non-prime DPSs that have direct lunar attacks in their kit that Columbina buffs. For pretty much any other character that isn't Geo, Columbina changing the reaction to a lunar one isn't really doing much because for Electro Charge, the lunar charge isn't really a big damage increase, if at all, and the lunar bloom, the only thing it does is generating the burden to you that is only useful for Llama, Columbina, and Nefer, of course. For Geo characters, since Crystallite is terrible, it should be a net damage gain, but since she's not doing anything else from a supportive standpoint, she's not exactly moving mountains for the Geo main DPSs like Navia and Ito. Basically, this character
She kind of is, though. I would agree for Ito. Actually, I would agree for Ito, but for Navia, it is a substantial increase.
In that she doesn't have a semi-universally useful supportive kit, but rather its value will be kind of matchup dependent. Still, for other DPSs, you can sort of...
Are Zhongli alternatives significantly worse than his Zibai teams? No. Gorou's better. Chiori's similar.
compromise if you did not try sub.
Inef, I think is better too.
DPSs like Inef and Llama, which of course Columbina buffs, and so you can pretend you're running a Raiden or Neuvillette carry team with them, when realistically it's just a front for the monsters in the back. Specifically, Inef can reach pretty insane output with Columbina, and she arguably becomes the strongest pure off-field DPS in the game with her, especially if the rest of the team is made by characters that also benefit her instead of awkwardly fitting in. Out of all the teams I've calculated of this kind...
Huh? Huh? Inefa DPS? 135k. The hell is this team? What do you choose to buy from the others? Is she easier to play? She's about I think they're all pretty easy to play. Even Nefer I think is easy to play if you have a shielder. She should be pretty close to Flint's for easy to play, and I think she'll feel a bit more fun. Where does this go? Whose team is this on the tier list? Where does this go? I think this is an Inefa team. Inefa, Durin, Columbina, or Durin, Columbina, Xilonen, 135k. Total team power. Oh, this is outdated. .5. Team building. 2.5. Practicality 10. There it is. Agree? Zuko should be much better than Xilonen here. There's got to be a. I'm sure he tried it. Maybe he wanted to. She's on instructors. I'm sure he tried it. Maybe it's the lunar crystallize. Probably wants heals? I doubt it. It's I don't know.
The most intriguing one was a full wheelchair team with Inefa, Columbina, and Durin. I don't expect many people to have all the components for this core, as Durin specifically came out in the current patch. So if you're getting Columbina, you probably don't have Durin as well, but the sheer output of this lineup with no real main carry is nothing short of impressive. And there are teams with main carries such as Raiden or an
110k for Raiden! It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Silicon Moon Serenade Raiden. Oh, it's Christmas, guys. Merry Christmas. Merry fucking Christmas. 110k. My heart is leaping out of its chest. It doesn't upgrade her very much on the tier list, because her team building takes such a hit. But it does move her here. She does get a 1 because she still is not that bad with Durin, but it's not a very big increase. Yeah. I think probably, though, it's not... Maybe we could give her a 9 in practicality, because you're at least doing DPS off the bat with this team. I don't know. So the tier list calcs for Columbina's weapon. Yeah, when you actually look at whole team damage, it's not that good. C3 Raiden calcs. C3 run Raiden with Durin is around 120k. If you give her a 9, the Anima driver should get 11. Okay, buddy. She's... Why would that be? She has infinite interruption resistance. Although you still have... Never mind, that doesn't matter because you have a shield. You have a shielder. Never mind.
But rather to help the sub DPSs with their own unique support. These are teams I like to consider as meta improvements because everybody with the composition...
I trust TGS more. So I'm gonna go to 108k. Sorry, Efi.
is fulfilling a role
TC bias? Yep.
Where this concept starts losing me is when you're adding to the...
But that's kind of important. It's important to have TC bias. You can't just trust all TCs equally.
They make some main DPS that really doesn't synergize in any great way from a pit standpoint with the rest of the team. Since pretty much 90% of the main DPS in the game have been...
It's so much better. And it's shielded. Fuck me. She'll take a team building hit, but it's still okay. She gets a practicality bump though. Guys, do I give her more of a team building hit? Maybe just a 2? No, 2.5 is fine, because she does have good teams other than that. Huh? No. Nora's saying enough early says she's the most broken character. I guess he's right. TGS is heavily theoretical in his calcs for DPS, not too reliable, like Nor. Heavily theoretical. What do you mean by that? I find in general he's quite similar. Why is 9 plus 2.5 equals 20? It's not plus, it's weighted. I think it's a 2. Feels like a 2 to me. Can you share the Google Sheet? Fake fan alert. It's in my it's on my tier list video, which is the featured video on my channel. Average of the top 2 teams. What does that mean? How do you define top 2 teams? How do you define it? What's a different team? What's Skirk's second team? What's Moika's other team? What does this mean? Or gives teams that don't use them a huge practicality bump. Skirk without Scoffy. That's so cope. Flints without an Nefa. Nefer without Llama. That's gonna fuck the tier list way too much. I've been subscribed since you had 1K members. Try to watch all your videos, but call me fake fan. It's pretty rude. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Sorry, I forgot to say. I always say fake fan when someone asks for the sheet, because it's on. Because I've talked about it in so many videos. I don't actually think you're a fake fan. Different archetype? What's so great about a different archetype, though? I don't think there's a reason to reward a different archetype. What is an archetype? Yeah, exactly. You got distracted. Continue the video. Okay. I think I'm happy with the Arlecchino. I just want to finish on the Arlecchino thing. She loses like 10k DPS by losing Columbina, so I'm reducing her so she gets but she does have other teams, so she's still getting a 2. It's not just this team that's carrying her, so 2 is fair. Do we agree with this? Because if it's any higher, she moves up a tier. That's why I'm like, this is very impactful. Like if we say 2.5, then she's in the higher tier, you know? I think it's fine. I think 2 is correct. Because 2.5 is like Beresa, and yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah. She should move up a tier though. Should she though? She's at the very low end of 9 is the other thing. You can play her on so many teams. Yeah, but other teams are so much worse. If she was at a higher, if she was like 9 goes from 15 to 30. She's at the lowest end of 9. So glad they nerfed Deluga. Makes it easier to skip the Zibai. Well, they buffed Zibai. And then Neuvillette 122k. That's illegal. Columbina. This is so stupid, bro. Columbina, Lauma, fucking mega wheelchair. 122k, and then his team goes to 1.5. But his power is a 9. We can move it to 2. It's just like Arlecchino. I'm just kidding. 2 is fair for this kind of wheelchairing. Two is fair. Navia gets a 2. Why is Neuvillette so low with the same team, but Columbina is higher? What do you mean? Columbina is using Ino. And she can also swap Sucrose for Llama.
Power crept in not right. Characters like Columbina in FA Llama can make them look pretty good compared to what...
Look at this damage. He's doing half the damage of an FA.
Had before, but rather than feeling like a meaningful buff for them, it's just a glaring band-aid to cover the fact that they've been left behind. And so if you're getting Columbina in an attempt to save them, I don't think that's really worth it from a meta standpoint. Also, because since their damage doesn't really benefit from this type of support you cast, if invested on them with Constellation and signature weapons, those aspects aren't really getting magnified by Columbina's presence. And so odds are they will still perform.
Correct. If you have cons on these characters, then these teams are going to be worse.
With more traditional teams. It's kind of like the double hydro situation of the whole Yelan and Xingqiu, or Felina and Yelan, but at least in that scenario, Felina and Yelan provided damage bonuses for the team, while Columbina and Inefa are more selfish than that. It's worth noting that without a second non-pro character, while Columbina's damage stays high...
Lol.
There is a significant drop-off in team-up, as the whole point of the archetype is about the raw damage the non-price sub-DPSs can dish out, so none of them is really replaceable. The exception here is a Geo DPS like Navia, because as I said before, Columbina enabling Lunar Crystallize is a quite effective support for her. Still,
okay, 100k for Navia. Nice. We'll call it. Is this? She just squeaks the 100k. It rounds up. Not cope. Just real.
Still, Navia's own damage output is really nothing impressive, and the same goes for Geo characters.
I was so when I saw 99, I was so scared, and then I was like, whew, it's 99.8. We don't even have to worry about
Other
that.
than G-Buy. Basically, if you don't have a non-crime main DPS, but you have Inefa and you want to use her on a lot of teams, then Columbina is a good pull. However, if you're pulling for her to save the old characters on your account, I don't think she's worth it, because she makes the team about her and the other non-crime characters on the composition rather than the main DPS in question. And honestly, this archetype might easily phase out if these main DPSs get actually fitting supports in the future, like, for example, Alhaitham getting a Signali upgrade for a melting. Of course, for the foreseeable future, she will make things better for them in Stygian, but that's all momentary after all. Last but not least,
Ryan team being better than the Neuvillette ones. Was it better? No, the Raiden team wasn't better.
Columbina can also
Pretty
be a
close,
main
though.
DPS if paired with Dendro
Pretty
characters. In fact,
close.
she can spend Burden Use while on field to use a special charge attack, so she's basically a Nefer alternative. Just like for Nefer, Llama is pretty much instrumental.
Hell yeah, 136. 136! What the fuck? And it doesn't even matter that I know C6. I know it can be C1. Thoughts adding an F, I did. That's crazy. It's kind of fucked up. Kind of fucked up.
So for her performance, and any Dendro replacement will make the team much weaker. If not for the fact that the other non-crime DPSs outperform her, Columbina will be in the top tier of the DPSs of the game, which is pretty great for a character that is mainly meant to cover an off-field role. I would say that if you have Llama but you didn't pull for Nefer, Columbina will be a pretty good pull to cover the Lunar Bloom niche.
Yeah. Fuck Nefer.
Also considering everything else she brings to the table that I already mentioned. So, as a whole, I wouldn't say Columbina is a must pull. Like, the closest she gets to that is for non-crime DPSs, of course, but I would say Urkate is consistently valuable enough to be a must pull as a whole. Especially because, as you might have understood from this video, her synergy with characters that are not from non-crime is
Columbina broken and not broken at the same time is sad.
And so,
it's fine.
It's very possible that a year from now or so, you'll be looking at this character in your box and think, okay, what am I doing with her now? And with this, I'm done for today. If you... Guy.
Agreed. W video. Everyone's making W videos. R1 and C1 and FOP. Yeah. Nefer and Columbina mains are just Llama mains in disguise. Yeah. Wow, I feel justified. This is so fucking funny to me. I gotta send this one to April.
Guy.
So with an F on Llama though, that's okay. I'm curious what it is without an Effa. You lose 28%. Because he showed us without Llama, but what about without an Effa? You know, what about Kuki instead? When's an Effa rerunning next patch? Like maybe it's bad. In this team, who can replace for Ino? Why do you want to replace Ino? C1 Ino is only minus 3k DPS. Normal Hyper Bloom at that point. Kind of. Columbina is still DPSing. One's early access. I might have it already. I don't know. I haven't checked my email in a bit. Speaking of which, I need to go and work on other stuff. Not a Krylus version of this team look like? Why would you want that? Don't get Columbina if you don't get other Not Cry. Sucrose instead of Ino? I don't know. Okay, I think we're gonna call it there. Who are we gonna raid? Sekapoko. What about Yazla?
Happy New Year.
Oh, they're doing, they say they're playing Genshin Impact, but they're lying. Oh no, they're not lying. Maybe this person? Alright, he's doing
It's just they've
Gotcha
had a lot
and
of
giveaways,
like
sure.
I feel like something like that they're waiting for.
Alright, thanks for hanging out, everyone. Happy New Year. See you next year. See you next year.